talk about the Western media, and in particular how negative the Western media are towards China. I've been coming to China for probably 12 years now, and in that time I've spent around 8 years here in China, and for the last 2 years I've lived permanently here in Shenzhen. And as I can't read Chinese and as I don't speak a huge amount of Chinese, I want to keep up with the news, so I use an app on my phone called Flipboard. It has to be used with a VPN because I can't openly access Flipboard here in China. But what I've noticed over all that time is that every time I see news about China from Europe, the UK, America especially, that news generally is always pretty negative. I've also seen an increase in that negativity over the last 2 or 3 years, to where almost there's no positive stories or news about China anymore, especially in the US press. But it's not just the US press, it's English press, European press. It's just so negative. I'll give you an example of this. A few weeks, maybe a month ago, I was flicking through my Flipboard and I came across a story about some institution. It may have been a university, I can't really remember. Engineers, scientists, professors, somewhere in China they developed a new camera sensor, and this camera sensor was way better than anything else that anybody else has got. The resolution is infinitely higher, it's huge. Now, if this had been invented or developed in any other country, it would have been fantastic news. Yeah, great, you know, we've got this company, we've got this institution, they've created this super duper new sensor. It's going to make photography much better, the image resolution will be excellent, it'll be better than what's currently out there. But guess what? Okay, because this is a Chinese company that have developed it, because it was a Chinese institution, Chinese professors, Chinese engineers, or whatever, the news story quickly turned negative. No, it's not the greatest invention. This can be used to spy on more Chinese people. It can be used to track more Chinese people because it can pick people out at greater distances, blah 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 blah. I just find this absolutely incredible that, you know, what's a very positive piece of news can be turned negative, and it's really such a shame. And I feel that people in the West, because of this kind of thing, get a really negative view about China. Really, it's not that the Chinese authorities are spying on all their population. Yeah, they have a lot of cameras, probably more, well, maybe not more than some Western countries, but yeah, they do have a lot of cameras. But that's not because they want to spy on their population. Maybe they do, but I don't think so. You know, the population of China is 1.4 billion. They don't have the resources to spy on all them, and why would they? What they do use it is they use it to give people more convenience. They use it to give people safety. So a lot of these cameras are at railway stations, ports, metro stations, airports. So if they find somebody's committed some kind of crime, it's much more easy to track those people down, you know. But you know, as usual, the West, it's this dystopian Chinese, society where the government controls everything. In reality, that's really not the case. So the second example I'd like to bring up about this negative news is Huawei. For the last 18 months or so, maybe 2 years, America have raised this huge negative PR campaign against Huawei. Now, okay, they claim that Huawei are a huge security risk, really, I believe that's just a nonsense, you know. I think the reality is that Huawei have developed technology that America don't have, and I really feel there's a big pang of jealousy going on there. You know, America have constantly suggested that Huawei, you know, is run or is funded by the Chinese government. Maybe there is some funding from the Chinese government to develop that technology, but that's no different to other countries in the world whose governments help their industry develop technologies. And then they've gone on and on and on to say how, oh, they pose this huge security risk, you know, to infrastructure. The reality is that, you know, it doesn't matter what equipment a country installs for its 5G infrastructure. If people want to hack it, they will hack it, you know. Huawei equipment is no less secure than other equipment from other vendors. And America say, oh, you know, this security is it. They've never produced one speck of evidence to back up any of their claims. Where conversely, America, there is an absolute stack of evidence against them to say that they've been spying. They install backdoors in their equipment. You know, there was a case when the Edward Snowden documents came out that the American authorities were intercepting shipments from Cisco that were destined for foreign countries and installing backdoors in that equipment so they could use it to spy on leaders of foreign countries. How about that? Yet for Huawei, there's not a scrap of evidence to say there is any wrongdoing at all by them. So isn't that amazing? Anyway, that just gives you a sort of perspective, a couple of real kind of world stories about the negativity of the Western media against China or Chinese companies. The purpose of this video, I hope in the future that when you read these kind of stories in the Western media, you'll take them with a pinch of salt, or if you have a little more time, do some of your own research and look and see, find out the truth behind some of these stories, because you know, Western news outlets are just pumping out negative about China all the time, and frankly, it's really unfair.